honored to be the first speaker for Tim. This is my story, and I'm here today to share with you my story of how I founded a community called Give One Dream. When I was 6 years old, I woke up on the morning of Christmas and surrounded by many books because when my mama had asked me what my dream was and what I wanted to get from Santa Claus, I told her I wanted books, lots of books. And as I woke up, surrounded by many, many books the morning of my Christmas when I was 7 years old, I imagined that one day I'll have my book with my own name on it. And that became my very first childhood dream. I was, just to give you a little bit of background of my story, I was born in California, and when I was 3 years old, my parents moved to Korea. So I grew up there until I finished 7th grade. And when I came back to 7th grade in California, I had to go through one of the most painful experiences of my life. Because I didn't speak any English back then, I was constantly bullied at school. So for a 12-year-old, it was really, really tough. And I came home and cried many, many nights at home. And I remember for one of the English class, we had to read 10 pages of a book, and it would take me 1 hour per page, so total 10 hours just to look up all the words I didn't know. So, you know, that's a lot of time. And I just remember thinking, like, I can't do this. So one morning I went to see Mr. David Weiss, who's my 8th grade English teacher, and I told him how much I was struggling and that it's just impossible for me to finish all the homework. So instead of reducing the homework load like I had hoped, that's probably the reason why I went to see him, but he just listened to me with patience, and he just listened, and then with this confidence in his eyes, he said, "Celina, you can do this." A few days later, he had finished grading one of our essay assignments, and then before he handed them out to the class, he said to the class, "We have a wonderful writer in our class." And he looked at me and he said, "Celina, why don't you read your essay out loud for everyone?" And of course, I was so surprised. And after I finished reading, he said that to the class, "Hey, you guys should all learn to be a great writer like Celina." A big round of applause. So I was so shocked and pleasantly surprised. And as you can imagine, after that day, school wasn't so bad anymore. Many of the kids who actually bullied me were in the class. And one teacher's belief in me changed how they saw me, how I saw myself, and reinforced my belief that I can pursue my dream. And many, many years later, I achieved my childhood dream of writing a book, all because one teacher believed in me when nobody did. After I grew up, I worked in finance and as a lawyer at a big law firm. And even though my career in finance and law had really nothing to do with writing a book, my childhood dream was very much alive in my heart. I had read somewhere that the biggest regret people have before dying is that they had not honored their dreams. And I didn't want to be one of them. So one day I decided to pursue my dream. I decided to write a book about 9 successful people in 9 different industries who are Korean Americans, because this experience, my bilingual, bicultural background has profoundly shaped me into who I am today. So I decided to interview 9 successful Korean Americans in 9 different industries and write about how they overcame failures and struggles to achieve their dreams. And I remember, you know, I was so excited just even the day that I thought of this idea. But it was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but also one of the most meaningful experiences of my life. First of all, I had to meet these 9 very successful people in 9 different industries, and I didn't know any of them, so that was very tough. And I had to convince them to give me a chance to interview them. I also had to write my book. I decided to write my book in Korean because, like I said before, my experience of coming to the US and moving back and forth and growing up to be bilingual and bicultural had profoundly shaped me into who I am today. I also had to find a publisher in Korea who wanted to publish my book, and I didn't have any contacts in the Korean publishing industry. So it was a very daunting task, to say the least. And so many people, including my mom, said that my dream was impossible. No one's gonna care what I have to say, and it's never gonna get published. And she said, "책 아무나 쓰는 거 아니다. 그냥 너 할 일만 잘해라." So yeah, she was very, very discouraging. Yeah, it's true. Actually, there were so many reasons why I could have failed, but there's one reason why I was gonna make it happen. And that's all I needed, because it was my dream that I wrote down when I was a child, and it was a dream that I've always had in my heart, and it was a dream that made me feel alive and so excited just by thinking about the possibility of it becoming a reality. So I tried and tried and tried until people said yes. It took a lot of cold calling, stalking, and flying to random places to try to meet with people that I wanted to interview. And eventually they all met with me, not once, but many times, and became the greatest supporters of my vision. My book actually has something that no other book has. The last 10th chapter is a blank chapter dedicated to the readers to write their own dreams so they can become part of the book. And I've designed my book this way because I've experienced in my life how powerful it is to write down my own dreams. And after my book got published, I heard from so many readers who sent me their dream chapters, and this I did not expect at all. So people started to share on social media, emailed me. Some readers flew from Korea to New York and gave me their dream chapter full of all the dreams they wanted to achieve. And I was so excited, and I really wanted to help them. But I knew that I couldn't do this alone. And as I was reading these stories and I was really excited to help them, I realized that there was a problem. People who had these dreams didn't have the support, the encouragement, and they didn't have time for their dreams. And they would say things like, yeah, I want to one day do this, but not right now. And I told them, no, your dream is important and there may never be tomorrow. So I thought about what it took to achieve my childhood dream of reality. And I decided that I wanted to help them to make these people's dreams come true, just like how other people have helped me to make my childhood dream a reality. So I decided to create a community of people that encourages, inspires, and helps one another to achieve our dreams together. And that is how Give One Dream was born. So in my experience of writing my dream, writing my book and making my childhood dream a reality, I learned 3 things that I believe can also help others to achieve their dreams. And I would like to share with you how I've implemented them in designing Give One Dream. First, we need to think about what our dreams are. What makes us come alive? And what will bring us true joy if it can become a reality? And why is it important to us? And most importantly, we have to write it down. Writing it down gives us clarity, and by committing it to paper, we make it more real and concrete. Studies have shown again and again that people who wrote down their dreams and goals achieved significantly more than people who did not. I decided to ask people to write and share their dreams on a campaign called Share Your Dream. And I picked a very simple design, a postcard, and asked people to write their dreams and then send it to me. And you'll probably see on your chairs, you probably have all received a postcard, and I hope all of you will participate by sending me your dreams. So after I get all these dreams, then what I do then next is to share dreams with the Give One Dream community. It's really important to share our dreams because when we share, we're more held accountable. And by sharing with other people what we want, we'll get more help. Studies have also shown again and again that people who wrote down our dreams and shared them with other people had a 33% more chance of making their goals and dreams come true than the people who did not. So that's a significant difference, right? So after I collect all the dreams, I then share one dream a day on Give One Dream Facebook and Instagram. And I launched this campaign last year in May, so it hasn't even been a year yet. But I've already received dreams from so many people in different countries. I don't even know how they find out about it, which is really, really amazing. So this is actually a picture of children in Ghana in Africa who just participated in the Share Dream campaign, and I'll be sharing their dreams online very soon. So I've collected dozens and dozens of dreams, and here are some of the dreams that I've shared. And as you can see, people are so artistic and very, very creative. I didn't necessarily expect people to draw or, but they did, and I think it's a way for them to really be really creative and really express their desires and their dreams. And through this Share Dream campaign, I've designed a very supportive and safe place for people to tell their stories about their dreams. And through these dreams, we learn so much about people because dreams tell a story of who we are, where we're now, and where we want to go. And through these dream stories, by sharing these dreams with the people, we're saying is, we heard you, we care about you, we support you as a community, and we want to see you achieve dreams. One of the important goal for Share Your Dream campaign is to give voice to people who usually don't have a chance to be heard. So I've been going to a lot of schools in Brooklyn and the Bronx, especially in really tough neighborhoods in New York. And I've asked these students to share their dreams with me. And a lot of these neighborhoods are in some of the toughest neighborhoods in New York City, and some of these neighborhoods have one of the highest crime rates in New York City, and a lot of these students have never had their parents ask them, or any adults or anybody around them ask them what their dreams are. So, and I really care to listen, and then they're so excited to share. And when I share their dreams online, it just makes them feel so heard and understood. So I've been hearing from so many students and teachers who have participated and I share their dreams online, or people who have heard from other people like, hey, can you send me like 500 postcards, and I would love to have my whole entire school participate. So I was really overwhelmed by this response. So I am now creating a Live Your Dream program. Actually, let me say this one first. So I actually wanted to tell you a story about Isis, who's a girl, a high school student I met in the Bronx. And she came from Honduras. She immigrated from Honduras 2 years ago with her mom, and really, really tough family situation. She's financially struggling, but also she needs to help her mom raise many of her younger siblings. So, but what I've been really amazed at is that people who are from some of the poorest neighborhoods and who really are struggling and have so much to worry about themselves actually have even more desires and dreams to share with other people. So let me share with you Isis' dream, and hopefully the video will play.
I didn't do a drawing, but one of my dreams is graduate from college, get a good job, and go back to my country. And do it.
You leave me?
You got it?
It's all right, it's all right.
Because I have the opportunity to have a good education. But back home, there is a lot of kids as me that don't have the opportunity to achieve a good education. So I want to go back and provide scholarships for all the kids that don't have a good education. So that's one of my dreams, and I believe in me, and I believe that I'm gonna do it. Oh my God.
She said that she's able to get an education because she's in the US, but there's a lot of kids back home in Honduras who are not able to get any education because back in Honduras, if you don't have money, then that's it. You cannot get an education. So her dream is to go back and provide scholarships to kids so that they can get an education. So that was the dream. Right now I'm creating a Live Your Dream coaching program. The idea came from when I heard like a really overwhelming response from a lot of the teachers and students who participated in the Share Your Dream campaign. So I'm creating this program to take the students on an inspirational journey of actually making one of their dreams come true. So I'm actually launching this very first program in Brooklyn next week at a high school, which is really exciting. So they will start with one of their dreams by writing it down on a postcard, and then and then they will be coached through the series of steps to actually make one of their dreams come true during the program. So for example, if a student's dream is to become a writer, maybe she will write a short story. If someone's dream is to become a rapper, they'll do a performance, and so on. And the idea is to actually really think about what it is that you want, and then figure out the steps to make it happen, and then through the experience actually learn what it takes to achieve a goal, achieve a dream. And then at the end, you have a sense of accomplishment. So we're going to have a Live Your Dream party where the kids can actually present the dreams that they have accomplished. And I believe that actually through this experience, students will develop resiliency and grit, and actually, it will serve as a powerful reminder that they can achieve their dreams if they work hard and if they put their mind to it. So I hope this is something that will really remain with them for the rest of their lives. So in order for people's dreams to come true, including these students, what's crucial is an encouragement. And that brings me to the third thing we need, which is the encouragement. When I first started Give One Dream 3 years ago, I started having different events in New York City, which is where I live. And the idea was to create a place for people to share with each other what their dreams are, and then be really supported, and to have the encouragement to make the dreams happen. So I had speaker series where I invited inspiring speakers to come and share their stories. I also had panel discussions about what it is, how we can create a meaningful career. I also had parties where I asked people to dress up as their future self, as if their dreams came true. And so many meaningful relationships were created at these events. People have launched business together, they're writing books together. Many people became friends, and some started dating. So real dreams happening for some people. And most importantly, they have really encouraged and support each other to realize their dreams. From the very beginning, I knew that I was going to design Give One Dream to be a place where people can really share their dreams and be supported and be encouraged without having to worry about being judged or criticized. And because that is a spirit in which the community was founded, it's really interesting to see how people already know that. So this is a dream from a 13-year-old girl from New Jersey, which is very artistic, right? So this dream got a lot of attention online and sort of went viral. And of course, the majority of the comments were very positive, but there was one cynical comment. And someone responded to that comment and then said that with all the naysayers on the planet, people don't need cynical comments. This page is for people to share their dreams and get the support. So I want to share with you an important mission for Give One Dream, which is pay forward. We are all here because someone from somewhere helped us to get to where we're now. We may not be able to pay them back directly, but we can always pay forward and help others. So when I was preparing for the first event in New York City, I decided that we should provide food and drinks because I knew that they were essential in creating an ambience where people bond and develop relationships. So we need to charge a small fee to cover the cost. But then I thought, well, maybe some people couldn't afford it even though it's a small fee. And I thought about how I can make sure that money never prevents people from coming to the events. So I came up with this idea for pay for ticket and made it possible for people to sponsor tickets for other people. Initially, a lot of people were skeptical and said that people are not going to pay for tickets of other people that they don't even know. I believe people would. And the first event, we sold way more pay-for tickets than the regular tickets, and all the pay-for tickets sold at all the events exceeded anybody's expectations. So a lot of the people who are requesting pay-for tickets are going through difficulties in life, like they've lost a job, or they're going through some other emotional or physical difficulties, and they just need a moment of inspiration. And thanks to many, many generous sponsors, we're able to give them a gift of inspiration at a moment when it is desperately needed, just like I received that gift from my 8th grade English teacher. So a few days before one of the events in New York City, I got an email from someone living in Brisbane, Australia. I've actually never been there. Anybody been there to Brisbane, Australia? Yeah, I would love to go. And this person said that, hey, I heard about Give One Dream, and I would love to go to be surrounded by many good people. Unfortunately, I can't afford to go to New York. I'll never be able to afford to go to New York, but I want to buy 2 paid-for tickets so you can give them to 2 amazing souls. And then he said that one day, hopefully, Give One Dream can come to Australia, so he'll be able to attend it in person, because he thought that the concept of Give One Dream, in his words, was so refreshing and so inspiring and so heartfelt. So I dreamed that one day we'll have events all over the world. And last year we had a very, very successful event in Seoul, Korea, and I know this is just the beginning. I'd like to share with you the ultimate vision I have for Give One Dream. I would like to create a social, a global platform where people can post their dreams online and be connected to people who can help them. So people will be able to visually see this. So for example, a person in New York City will help someone in Cairo in Egypt. Then the global will turn and land in Egypt. And then the person in Egypt then will help someone in Mexico City. Then the global turn and lands in Mexico City, and so on. I would love to focus on helping the developing regions of this world, and you'll be able to push one button and see how all of us are connected. By sharing dreams from people all over the world, my dream is to show that we're more alike than we're different. Yes, we're made up of our diverse experiences that make each one of us unique. But at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We want to love, and we want to be loved. And we want to be happy, and we want our families to be happy. And we want to live a meaningful life that matters. So by growing Give One Dream into a global movement, my dream is to contribute in creating a world not divided by hatred, but united with love. Not wounded by fear and violence, but healed by kindness and compassion. So I'd love to invite all of you to participate and join me in creating a more loving and compassionate world, one dream at a time. Thank you.